Everyone, and welcome back to the semifinals of the Southeast Asia Legends Tournament number 11. This is the best of 5 between ShinyP and WaningMoon. Let's see how this is going to turn out for both of these players. Let's just take a quick look at what both players are playing as far as classes go. Let's see if I can find out what ShinyP is playing. Apparently I cannot see that on the list here, but WaningMoon's classes are Warrior, Warlock, and Mage, so decided to go for Mage. Remember, this is Conquest mode, so if you win with a class, you are not allowed to play that class anymore. You need to win with all classes if you want to move on towards the next round, which is going to be the finals after this one. So let's take a quick look at the game state as of now. WaningMoon a little bit behind in the health department, ahead in the card department though. Frostbolt, Frostnova, Iceland, Doomsayer, Anti-Killbot. Oh god, WaningMoon, please don't play like Mill Mage, I beg. Like, I can handle the Doomsayers, I can handle Frost Mage, but please don't play the Mill Variant. Anyways, ShinyP on the offensive here is playing Zoo version of Hunter, so a lot of low value creatures. It's trying to go hard on the offensive here, and I don't feel like it's gonna work out too well against the style of Mage that WaningMoon is playing right now. So Doomsayer is gonna be dropped here, and WaningMoon pretty confident that ShinyP is not gonna be able to take down that Doomsayer, and more than likely is not. So it's just gonna attack for as much damage as possible and skip his turn over. Let the Doomsayer do its thing. ShinyP is gonna get a secret out of that one at the very least. So let's take a quick look at what that secret is. Explosive Trap, but WaningMoon don't really care about those secrets, as he's probably not gonna attack any time soon. Emperor Forson might be his only likely target for attack there. So Arcane Golem gonna come across. Did not use the Knife Juggler first, surprisingly. Apparently wants to save that 2 mana to just do damage there. And WaningMoon now drawing into one of his combo pieces, the Ice Block here. So can't survive lethal damage if he does suffer it, but more importantly, Emperor Florison is standing for another turn, so that's going to reduce the cost of all the cards by 1 yet again. WaningMoon now sitting at 20 health, and kind of considering whether he wants to attack, yes or no, because what WaningMoon is probably thinking at this point, if it's Freezing Trap, then he doesn't get the cost reduction from Emperor Florison. If it's Explosive Trap, then it's not too bad, but I don't think that he wants to take that risk. So Iceland is gonna come across to freeze that Arcane Golem. Is actually gonna freeze ShinyP as well for whatever reason. I'm not actually sure why he froze both of them. Probably because WaningMoon is afraid of a potential Eagle Horn Bow or something like that. As of course he didn't have the mana to follow up with Frost Nova.
I wonder.
So ShinyP is now also considering his options. Mad Scientist being dropped, so that's going to mean another secret in ShinyP's arsenal. So can't do duplicate secrets, and other Explosive Trap is already in his hand, so there's no other choice but to play the Freezing Trap. Now WaningMoon actually pulling into an Alexstrasza, which is going to be very helpful. Secret is going to pop, and it is going to be Explosive Trap, so WaningMoon pretty happy about that one. And just scouting out the field, I feel. So now the Alexstrasza play is open. Ice Block could be played, and I feel that he wants to let that Emperor Farson stand for as long as possible. Wants to get as much mana reduction as possible as well, especially with Alexstrasza, the 9 mana dragon being in his hand. WaningMoon still has 1 health remaining on that Emperor Farson, so that's going to reduce the cost of Frost Nova, it now being completely free. But now ShinyP can use his own combo, the Knife Juggler, into the Unleash the Hound, so that's going to chuck triple daggers. Is it going to be Face Juggler? No, it is not, as 1 dagger will land into the Anti-Killbot, the second into Emperor Florison, and the third into the Mad Scientist, so anything but Face Juggler here. the Worgen Infiltrator gonna chuck another dagger towards WaningMoon himself, so he has to sacrifice one hound. And of course, that Mad Scientist will fizzle because WaningMoon already has both of his secrets in play. 8 armor gonna come across and help him out a little bit here. Now sitting at 19, WaningMoon a little behind in the card department though, but he has a Frost Nova to help him out, and he can still bring out those Fire Blasts to just slowly whittle away his opponent. So he can like start working on whatever his opponent's ass left. Starts to burn down with the Alexstrasza though. Shiny Pants can actually empty his hand pretty well with that Leper Gnome Explosive Trap Quick Shot. So he can at least draw a card. But I'm not too sure if he actually wants to do that. So it's kind of iffy because Alexstrasza has to be taken out, but he can't take it out on this turn. So next turn, WaningMoon can hit for 10 damage. Or, well, not anymore, but Blizzard is gonna be the nail in the coffin for Shiny Pants here. Quick Shot is gonna help out, but not a lot, and now has to rely on his top deck. If Shiny Pants doesn't top deck into anything, then WaningMoon can just attack twice with Alexstrasza and let it be game. Of course, there is the risk that secret, or for the risk for WaningMoon is there that it is a freezing trap there, but actually top decks into the kill command with the draw from the Quick Shot, and now WaningMoon left without a field, only has double freezing spells. Blizzard is gonna wipe out the entirety of the field though, and can start whittling away at Shiny Pants with 1 damage at a time. The only problem is that Shiny Pants is gonna do more because his hero power does 2 damage and WaningMoon only does 1, and with the Eagle Horn Bow now being equipped, is gonna start whittling away even more at the health of WaningMoon. Now WaningMoon does have a Frostbolt in hand, so he can prevent that attack from coming in for a little bit. Mad Scientist out on the field as well for WaningMoon, so it's a very close game with both players with relatively empty hands. Shiny Pants having absolutely nothing, WaningMoon having 1 card, Abusive Sergeant. He's not gonna bring that out. I feel he's gonna save it up for like if he maybe gets a Huffer with Animal Companion out. So WaningMoon top decking into the Arcane Intellect instantly is gonna play that 1/2 cards for him. The Pyroblast for 10 and the Flame Strike for 4. So now all he has to do is survive this 1 turn, which of course is more than possible because of that ice block. But that is a little bit unfortunate because the Explosive Trap is going to trigger, but that Ice Barrier is going to be added to his hand. So all he needs to do is play that Frostbolt, survive the next turn, which is of course more than possible. The top deck Arcane Intellect, the Pot of Greed of Hearthstone, drawing 2 cards. WaningMoon is going to take game 1 with a straight up Pyroblast for 10 damage for the face in this best of 5. And he's only 2 games away from moving towards the finals. So congratulations to WaningMoon. We'll be setting up game 2 in just a bit. In the meantime, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Hearthstone action.
versus Garrosh.
Victory or death! Your soul shall be mine!
Hey there everyone, welcome back to game 2 between ShinyPants and WaningMoon. This is a best of 5 who gets to, which determines who gets to go to the finals. Don't have an update on the second semifinals for you, unfortunately. Anyways, WaningMoon playing Warrior, ShinyPants playing Warlock, and looks like ShinyPants is playing a pretty interesting version of Warlock. Don't see any giants yet in his hand, but he does play the Dr. Boom, so might be a small mixture of his. I'm not going to question both of these players as they're sure to be much more experienced than I am, and they all have those lovely gold borders on their heroes. So WaningMoon on the offensive here. Sacrifices one of his weapon durability just to take down a Hunter Creeper. I guess that's worth it at the very least, but that Armor Smith not gonna be too long for this war because of the use of Sergeant. And ShinyPants playing, I guess, like a variety of Zoo, as he does play the low value creatures, the Void Caller as well with the Death Rattle effects. I'm just wondering how it's gonna hold up against this defensive style of Warrior, as it seems to be. Like, I don't think the Grim Patron, I don't think I've seen the Grim Patron version of the deck at all today. So ShinyPants will get a couple of imps from that one, but the Whirlwind will take swift care of everything on the field, and WaningMoon does get to draw a card from that one. Will get an imp for his troubles, so overall not the worst thing, but again, not a position ShinyPants wants to be in. He wants to actually start attacking quite aggressively here, but doesn't really have the potential to do so just yet. WaningMoon having Death's Bite in his hand is first gonna take care of that little impling. Gets to draw Harrison Jones from that one, and the Death's Bite is now being able to use. So WaningMoon getting the maximum amount of cards from the Acolyte of Pain, 3 for 3, and that is gonna kill off the Void Caller as well, and the Void Caller summoning a second Void Caller. That's actually pretty funny. So has to take care of that one as well. Now looking at what ShinyPants has in his hand, only has one demon, the Void Walker, so WaningMoon probably more than happy to just attack into that Void Caller and trigger the Death Rattle effect from his Death Bite as well, making sure that he gets another card from the Acolyte of Pain. I'm not too sure how WaningMoon's gonna play out the rest of his turn. Probably play the Shield Maiden just to get some armor, I guess, as he has suffered a little bit of damage from the entire ordeal. Decides to take down the Loapheb instead. Shield Maiden still standing. Doesn't want to give ShinyPants like a free demon. Void Terror now is a little bit of a tricky thing. So ShinyPants wanting to life tap first because he wants to get as much demons as possible. Why? Because ShinyPants can then play Void Terror alongside a Void Walker, so he can gain the maximum amount from the Void Terror and still have a demon to play from the Void Caller's Death Rattle effect. Now it doesn't have that, so I'm not too sure how ShinyPants actually wants to play this one out.
Why do you call?
So looks like ShinyPants is just gonna flood the field with the Nerubian Egg. So with that said, ShinyPants having a small defensive armada here, but WaningMoon just is gonna waltz through that one. Is gonna kill off that one as well. Void Terror joining the field, but because it was summoned by an effect, it doesn't get its battle cry effect off. So just a simple 3/3 for 3 mana. So not the best, not the worst, but like you want to use that Void Terror in tandem like with your Demon's Death Rattle effects. So not the most optimal thing. Now Shiny Pants can play that Sea Giant for 6 mana. I really do like the flavor text for Sea Giant as a Sea Giant. Anywho, Sea Giant probably his best choice right now. Maybe Dr. Boom, as he will have more minions out on the field. Sea Giant's cost will be reduced to 3 at that point, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, the Boom bots might trigger like a chain reaction. A lot on the field might be wiped out. So it's not too beneficial as well, as he might not be able to play that Giant later on. Dr. Boom, meanwhile, has a fixed mana cost, so he can always play that. So Shiny Pants like really considering his options here now. He can't really tap as well because there's nothing that can reduce the cost. Like I guess he could play Flame Imp and Sea Giant at that point, but decides to clear the board instead, saves up on his Giant, plays a Dr. Boom, reducing the cost to 5, and now Waning Moon does have a Ragnaros the Fire Lord in his hand. Baron Geddon might be an option as well. More than likely, he's going to use that Big Game Hunter to snipe down Dr. Boom and use the Iron Beak Owl to silence that Nerubian Egg. So now he can play that Baron Geddon safely the next turn if anything remains, but looks like Waning Moon is just going to go on the offensive here, destroy one of those Boom bots. His Iron Beak Owl will die for it, but doesn't really matter too much. Waning Moon doubting between the Boom bot and the Nerubian Egg, goes for the Boom bot, decides to take the risk of damage here. His Harrison Jones only taking 1 damage, being scuffed by that explosion, and now Shiny Pants with an Implosion in his hand is going to try and take down that Harrison Jones. How much damage is it going to do? It's going to do 3 damage, so it does get the lethal kill onto Harrison, and his Sea Giant is still being able to be played for 4 mana. It now being dropped on the field. Waning Moon has to find a way to take care of that one. Shield Slam not going to help at all at this point, so it looks like he's just going to sacrifice his minions and play Baron Geddon to wipe out the field completely. Waning Moon with such an advantage over Shiny Paths' Warlock here. Wiping out the field yet again. Does take a little bit of damage. Here, Shiny Pants, what is your top deck going to be? A Void Walker, and that's not going to be enough. Forced to tap to 19. Doomguard coming out. So Shiny Pants can't play out his entire hand there. Add up with the Doomguard as well. But now Shiny Pants being dropped to 16, taking out the Baron Geddon with him. And now Waning Moon more than happy to just bring out the Ragnaros, the Fire Lord, and start whittling away to Shiny Pants. Because Shiny Pants doesn't really have too much. Has an empty hand and almost an empty field with his Void Walker being gone. Has to life tap to draw something worthwhile. Gets a Nerubian Egg, so that might be useful later on if Ragnaros actually does decide to fire off into that Nerubian Egg. But Waning Moon has the Execute available for himself, has a Dr. Boom, Cruel Taskmaster in tandem as well. So there's just too much for Waning Moon to play out. Dr. Boom will join the fray here. Armor up and Shield Slam to take care of, I would assume, that Flame Imp. So Shiny Pants doesn't have too much left on the field. Shiny Pants does get a Nerubian, 4/4 Nerubian though, and a Defender of Argus to follow that up with, so he can taunt up pretty well, and a Power Overwhelming to add up to that one as well, so he can actually kill off that Ragnaros if he really wants to. But decides to go on the aggressive here. If he does, he will whittle down Waning Moon to about 10 hit points, but if it's going to be enough, I'm not too sure, because his Boombots are going to be spilling their explosive everywhere on the field, and that's going to leave prime targets for Waning Moon's Execute. Shiny Pants just not in the best of spots right now. Like, his top decks have been good, but it's just not been enough. And Shiny Pants looks like he's betting it all on the top deck with the Power Overwhelming. WaningMoon has to find a way to clear out the entire field. If not, then he might just lose this one straight up, depending on what Shiny Pants is gonna top deck. Cruel Taskmaster Execute gonna be used to get rid of that 7-4 Nerubian at this point. And Dr. Boom and the Boom Bots probably gonna be used to take care of the rest of the field. That is gonna be that Defender of Argus still remaining alive, but not for long. Shiny Pants with 11 health remaining, WaningMoon with 12. Like, unless Shiny Pants can pull out something miraculous out of his deck, and he is gonna lose that one. Abusive Sergeant, maybe life tap for Leroy Jenkins. It is not gonna be enough. Shiny Pants is gonna surrender. WaningMoon 2-0 up in this best of 5. So Shiny Pants not too lucky. If he had top decked the Leroy Jenkins there, he would have actually stood a chance. He would have gotten back into this game, but unfortunately top decked a Defender of Argus. So we're going to set up game 3 between Shiny Pants and WaningMoon. WaningMoon is on his last class for a win right now, which is, let's take a quick look here, which is Warrior, if I'm not mistaken, so still has to play that one. Or, excuse me, it's going to be Warlock, as he has just one with the Warrior. So we're going to set that one up for you in a bit. As you can see, it's already loading up for you, people. So it's going to be Warlock, Hunter versus Warlock, the battle of who can kill off the other faster. And it looks like both players are playing the Zoo variant of their decks. Shiny Pants with a few more weapons, Glaive, Zuka, and Quick Shot to follow that one up as well. WaningMoon with not the worst start, actually. It's probably going to mulligan that Mulganus, if anything. So mulligans have been made, and it doesn't really matter because Shiny Pants got an Eagle Horn Bow right back and got a Mad Scientist. So WaningMoon actually did not decide to mulligan the Mulganus, decided to keep it for his trouble. Shiny Pants starting things off with a Worgen Infiltrator. WaningMoon decided to tap away, trying to hurt Shiny Pants as much as possible. Does not really get the best cards at this point. I'm not too sure what variant WaningMoon is playing. I'm more inclined to say that he is playing Giants in his build right now, and less of a Zoo variant. Shiny Pants taking a little bit of damage and starts to go out on the aggressive hero. Dr. Boom being top decked here and doesn't really have much else, so is kind of forced to play that big game Hunter as like bait, because I think that WaningMoon is assuming that Shiny Pants is not playing like anything that has 7 attack or more, so he's just bringing it out as bait. Shiny Pants probably not taking that bait though. And now Shiny Pants is just considering, am I going to take down the 4-2 Big Game Hunter with my Worgen Infiltrator, or am I just going to keep on attacking? Like, multiple options are available. Like, he can just use that Quick Shot as well if he manages to empty his hand over the next 2 turns, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. I assume he would want to use that Worgen Infiltrator and like save up on his weapon durability, because he does have a Mad Scientist in his hand, which can give him a durability later on, which is essentially like 3 damage. But I think that Shiny Pants might have some issues here as he just got back online. So now back to Waning Moon, who has a taunted up 5-3 or 5-2. Sorry, 5-3 creature now nerfed back to 5-1 after attacking the Worgen Infiltrator. Sorry about that. Anyways, back to Shiny Pants, who can just unleash the hounds and take care of everything on the field. So that big game hunter falling down. The last weapon durability being expended to take care of that one, as Shiny Pants is expecting Waning Moon not to have much of a hand as well. Now he does have a Void Caller in hand, and a Void Caller can bring out the Mal'Ganis, so I'm actually surprised that he did not bring the Void Caller out earlier. Shiny Pants having the response in the form of the Iron Beak Aldo. And now there's something interesting happening. So if Waning Moon can actually survive for the next turn, then he can actually bring out the Void Caller, try to suicide it, and bring out the Mal'Ganis.
Put this apple on your head.
My shield for Argus!
Waning Moon actually using his Defender of Argus to set up a defensive board here. So actually can survive another turn here. Because Quick Shot is going to do 3 damage. Like he can't... So Shiny Pants can clear out the board, but he's going to sacrifice a lot for it as well. So Leok being added to his hand, I do feel that Shiny Pants would have preferred a Huffer at this point, but Leok not being too bad. And Shiny Pants now only having 6 health left, has another Void Caller to his name, has to find a way to finish it off somehow. Iron Beak Owl onto the Leok might prove with a little bit of respite, but not too sure if it's gonna be enough at this point, especially with Shiny Pants having the Glaive Zuka in his hand. It's gonna be more than enough. Shiny Pants gonna come back into this one. The well played from Waning Moon coming out, and Shiny Pants getting back into this one. The score is now 2-1.
Valera versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be
Welcome back to
mine.
game 4 between Waning Moon and Shiny Pants. Waning Moon winning 2 games, Shiny Pants winning 1. Waning Moon only 1 game away from making it to the final. Shiny Pants 2 games. So Waning Moon pretty much on his last class here. Warlock has to play Warlock for the remainder 2 games. Shiny Pants playing Rogue, and this is actually the first Rogue I've seen the entire day. So I'm not so sure what extra cards Shiny Pants might have played in his deck. I don't know if he has any Blackrock cards in his deck, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But Waning Moon with a turn 1 life tap He was hovering over Doomsayer, and I'm like, is he actually going to play the Doomsayer turn 1? I don't think he is. Shiny Pants with pretty much the standard rule combo deck as far as I can tell, with the Violet Teacher and stuff like that coming into play here. WaningMoon just wants to draw card after card after card after card after card after card here. And Shiny Pants doesn't really have the best of starts as well. Unless he actually wants to earn Ring Heart here, heal WaningMoon, which would be pretty nice of him, but is going to hog all that health for himself. Now WaningMoon not having a coin is just going to play that Doomsayer, and it's actually I'm not too sure what WaningMoon is thinking at this point, playing the Doomsayer at this point, but I guess he just wanted something out. And it's, thinking about it, it's actually a way of preventing your opponents to play any minions at that point, because the Doomsayer will take them out the next turn. So I guess that's what WaningMoon wanted to do. I think it's just damage control on his part, as he now has 5 mana, can actually play his Mountain Giant. Or 4 mana can play the Mountain Giant, excuse me. So now Shiny Pants has multiple options here. Sapping not being one of them, sadly. So Piloted Shredder probably his most legitimate play at this point, and having to pass turn after attacking with his dagger. Now WaningMoon sitting at 5 mana is more than likely to play a Sludge Belcher at this point, which is a pretty huge roadblock for the rogue, as they have to use sap to get over it properly, or use like a lot of spells. Now Southsea Deckhand is a card that has seen a lot more play in rogue decks, especially with like the Tinker Sharpsword Oil and cards like that. Southsea Deckhand has seen like a resurgence of play. Like pirates in general aren't the best archetype, because they don't work too well together. Like you have dragons and you have pirates. Like there's nothing as dedicated like as mechs and murlocs, or like demons. And pirates work well together, I guess, but they're not like solid enough to build an entire deck around. I feel like if I'm mistaken, then please do correct me in chat. So let's see, River Crocodile being dumped by the Piloted Shredder. Apparently it was piloted by a little fish in a river. And Shiny Pants taking the full 30 damage. Still has 6 mana available for himself, but has to pick pretty soon. I'm not too sure if sapping the Giant is going to do anything for him. So goes for the Violet Teacher play. And is he going to sap that Giant? Well, it looks like he gets a Violet Apprentice for his troubles though, but I would assume that WaningMoon is just gonna play that Giant again, especially now that it pretty much costs only 3 mana.
So many possibilities.
Now WaningMoon has a full hand, has to play at least one of his cards, otherwise he's forced to discard. So goes for another Mountain Giant play here. Attacks into the Violet Apprentice and pretty much passes turn, as he refuses to do anything with his 3 mana. Doesn't want to tap, because if he taps, he'd be back at 10 cards in his hand, and during his draw, it has to discard the card he has drawn. So Shiny Pants, no draw power in his hand. No real way to get rid of that Mountain Giant as well. So like I feel that his best play might be just to get a lot of Violet Apprentices out on the field. And meanwhile, WaningMoon just has a lot of card advantage. Next turn also has a Twilight Drake to get something big out on the field. Turn after that, he can taunt it up with the Defender of Argus. He just has a lot to work with. Goes for the Eviscerate, SI7, Agent Violet Apprentice combo. So like sacrifices a whole bunch to get rid of that one mountain giant.
This guy's toast.
Or actually doesn't use the Violent Princess, uses double SI7 agent. In return, does get a full field though. So now it's up to WaningMoon to reply to that one. Does he have anything to take care of that one? Well, he has a Dread Infernal, deal 1 damage to all their characters. And he can use the Mortal Coil to get rid of that regular Crocodile. So did a decent job. And that one is still going to take 9 damage at the very least for the next turn. Siphon, does WaningMoon have a Siphon Soul? Yes, he does. So he has options here. Shiny Pants is coming at that point where he's starting to whittle down WaningMoon as much as possible, but he just doesn't have the momentum to carry on with that one. Emperor Force on, useful, but not at this point, as he doesn't have any high value card cost, and the Dread Infernal is going to be like a big point to get over as well. And if Shiny Pants doesn't like take care of that Dread Infernal now, then WaningMoon is probably gonna bust out the Twilight Drake Defender of Argus combo.
So many options.
So just decides to go for the aggressive play here. And now it is back to WaningMoon, and WaningMoon can actually clear out the entire board with a Shadow Flame play here, and then running into the risk that he might get killed the next turn. So it looks like he is going to go for a defensive player. Actually can still play the Shadow Flame here after attacking with his 7/7. So board is wiped out. Shiny Pants has nothing left here and does draw into a sprint. So I might be looking into that one. And I don't think that Shiny Pants has any other option. Like, he has to play the sprint. If he actually pulls something useful, then he might just win this one. Tinker Sharp Sword Oil, not going to be too useful. Eviscerate for 4 damage is not going to be enough. Blade Flurry is not going to be enough. And I don't think that there's any way for Shiny Pants to just win this one. As that 9/9 Mountain Giant with Taunt is just so hard to get over. I'm thinking of a miracle combo that might work here, but I can't see it, as he doesn't have the mana to play the Sharp Sword Oil, and next turn he's gonna take a lot of damage. Like, the only way I can see Shiny Pants surviving this one is if he eviscerates the Defender of Argus and then hopes that WaningMoon doesn't have anything to kill him off straight up. That's the only way that he might survive this one. So is gonna take the risk, eviscerates the Defender of Argus. South Sea Deckhand more than likely to be played as well, but it doesn't even matter. WaningMoon drawing into that Hellfire has more than enough options to just finish it off. WaningMoon will be our first finalist in the Southeast Asia Legends 11 series. So congrats to WaningMoon. He will be our first finalist. He will be facing